if you can see, I moved the alternator up. I used to have the Carceps kit that put the alternator all the way down here. So when the weight plate's on and the intercooler's here, it's too tight for the intercooler piping. So I put the alternator in the stock spot. So now we're gonna take off the mount and the side mount. And I got this billet piece that will allow us to mount this on the inside, and it's adjustable. So we can put a tensioner and an idler on here. So it's gonna go up here somewhere. So that should work pretty good, hopefully. So we're gonna try it. All right, so this is a CRV T bracket. I just took it off the side of the head over here. And I just tripped over an impact, but it was mounted right there. So this is supposed to mount the same way. Looks good so far. It looks adjustable for some reason too, but we're gonna use the bottom holes, it looks like. And then this is gonna bolt behind it. So let's test fit it real quick. Alright. Initial look. I think it's raining all of a sudden, making crazy noises. But I got it all bolted up, and I haven't looked at it yet, but it looks like we might have clearance right there, or interference, can't tell. I can stick a feeler gauge in there and see, but it's because I think this alternator, but you'll have that. So this is also, so the pulley is adjustable also. There's 3 mounting points, you can move it. And I guess there's washers for spacing and stuff, but I have a belt from this old Carceps kit. Like I said, this is the one that puts the alternator down low. So now it's up high and we have more room. I'll show you when we put it together, back together. But I'm gonna try this belt and see how close it is.
Tension on the belt. Here's our routing.
Go over top of the water pump. Over top of the water pump. Get to that. After about 90 days later, I figured it out. The belt doesn't fit, but I figured out the routing. For a minute, I'm like, this isn't gonna work, this isn't gonna work. But we got it. Got one to fit. That's the number for you. So, it goes over the crank, around the idler, over top the tensioner, over top the alternator, and then over the water pump here. Pretty sure these rims might finally be leaving. These are off my old Accord, well, my new old Accord. Get rid of them. I'm cleaning them up now because they're all dirty. And hopefully some guys coming to buy them from Cleveland today. So I have more money for race car parts. And I'm going to weld this today also. Got it on nice and solid. Check out all the room now. I moved the alternator up like I mentioned before. But now we got all kinds of room for our intercooler piping. Don't mind the wires, those are just hanging there. They're not hooked up to anything. And then straight shot from here up. Welcome back to Frank's Garage. So we're finally headed to Gasper's garage to weld my weight plate. Got it back here in the bed of the truck. getting some fuel right now. Not too much, because we have 5 cars and we can only put a little bit in each. But she is on E. So let's go lay some dimes. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. Let's see if we get the channel to 1,000 subscribers before, I don't know, next year, 2 years from now, whenever. So I also have a piece of 1/8 inch steel back there. That's what we're gonna use for our mid plate. We're gonna plasma cut it out, hopefully today. And then we're gonna final weld the weight plate. I could throw it on the car. And then I could start putting my intercooler back on, my radiator. And then we could weld the tabs for the actual weight plate. Or no, we could weld the tabs for the actual mid plate. And then I really don't want to drive this car until that mid plate is done, so we don't break that rear mount again. I'm actually going to contact Hasport and see if we can get a new rear mount, because mine's super mangled. I did fix it kinda with a hammer and stuff, but it still doesn't fit 100% correct. And I could see on the head side motor mount, you can see the engine's tilted a little bit. Looks like my Civic, huh? Except way nicer. Some of them are pretty okay. All right, so we're gonna wire the wideband. We're gonna take this plug off and we're gonna wire the CAN bus into the actual harness and then also the power. That way that the wideband will just plug right in. I won't have to run this to power our ground. It'll get powered off the ECU. And then I think I'm gonna do the same thing with our screen. So I have a little cheat sheet somewhere here that tells us what pins are what for this harness. All right, so here we go. These are the auxiliary connectors. So this is the ECU plug. This plugs into the jumper, and then the jumper plugs into the actual Honda harness. So it looks like we're going to use some kind of 12 volt switched, which that's inputs. Stand by. Oh, look at this. The WB1 wideband actually came with a diagram of how to do it. So it looks like we're going to take ground to 810 and then power to 826. So I'll come over here and I'm actually going to use, on my main connector, I'm going to use pin 26, which it says fuse power. And then we're going to use A10, which is just a battery ground. Cool. Alrighty, so I have the headlight and turn signal harness out. That's this right here. It plugs in over here. We have a headlight, wire, turn signal, and then all this stuff goes to the passenger side. It used to run through here over top the radiator support, but now I'm gonna run it up through into the car, and then I'm gonna extend it and then run these, which are for the passenger side. These got to get ran into the car and then connected behind underneath the dashboard. That way there won't be any wire up top. I also put a connector on the cooling fan, ran that through around. It's down here right now. This is our ground for our cooling fan, our power. All this is gonna change right here. This is just whatever. But I'm just mocking it up. Comes through here, runs with our main power, into the grommet, into the car, into our Deutsch connector on pin 2. So that's gonna work out great. So let's finish up this wiring right here for the turn signals and stuff. And then we can move on to something else. There's a lot to do. Alrighty, let's see what happens with the lights. I have the steering column plugged back in, I believe. We have everything plugged in, wired. I have the light switch on, and we're just gonna hook up the battery real quick, see what happens. Ooh, they work. This one doesn't. This one doesn't work. Oh, I didn't ground them. Still gotta ground them. My fault. Okay, sweet. Nice. Does the light still work? Yep. My sweet license plate frame still works. You can change the colors if you push a button over here. All right, let's put water in it and see if it leaks. Got a radiator hose on the bottom, radiator hose on the top. I fixed the coolant leak down there, I believe. I put a cap in here. We're gonna see what happens. I got it running good.